This is TZGN. We've got news from Xiaomi. What is the K20 gonna become? I think I've just found out. Huge news from Huawei regarding the Mate 30 series and a new operating system for them. And the iPhone design has pretty much been leaked. All right, so let's get started with some big news actually from Huawei. So this photo made its way online in China, and you can see here, this is the Xiaomi Mi 9T. This has been rumored for a while actually. It's been going round the rumor mill. Now, of course, the Redmi K20 and the K20 Pro have just been released in China, just in China, not internationally. If you want to see those videos, you can check them out. I'll link them below. But people have been asking, when is the K20 series going to be launched internationally? Well, it may not be the K20 series once it gets outside of China. So what it looks like is that there is going to be a Xiaomi Mi 9. And have a look at this photo. If you look at the sticker on the front there on the screen, you can see all those specs match up 1-for-1 with the Redmi K20. Not the K20 Pro, just the K20. So is this going to be a Xiaomi Mi 9T, a sort of cheaper version, pumped up but cheaper version of the Xiaomi Mi 9? Well, according to this photo at least, the Xiaomi Mi 9T is definitely a thing. And the leaker in China is pretty well respected, so I do give this photo some credence. I know a lot of you are really interested in the Redmi K20 series, and you're asking, where is the Poco F2? Will this phone be repurposed and made into a Poco F2? What's going on? Well, the Poco F2 is probably in line for an upgrade pretty soon. So can the K20 Pro be repurposed and made into the Poco F2? Absolutely. Will they change the design slightly? Maybe. But what we can see from this picture is that the K20 non-Pro variant might go into a Xiaomi Mi 9T type phone, and the K20 Pro, that may be repurposed and made into a Poco F2. The K20 Pro is just too good not to be sold in other markets. This phone, having it for not even a week yet, but it's just such a great phone. It has absolutely everything you could want in a modern smartphone, except for wireless charging, but it fits the mold of a Poco phone. It is cheap and powerful. It maybe doesn't have the best camera if you compare it maybe to the Oppo Reno, because you've got the zoom, the P30 series because you've got the zoom there. Huawei phone's very good at taking images, but it's just so cheap for the price. This one is 2,500 RMB for a Snapdragon 855, that bezel-less screen, under-screen fingerprint sensor, and the big battery as well. So things are definitely becoming clearer here as to how Xiaomi is going to break up this line once it goes internationally. Obviously the Poco phone was just one phone, it wasn't a series, so maybe they're going to keep the K20 Pro, repurpose it into a Poco F2 maybe, and then as the K20 exists, maybe they'll repurpose that into a Xiaomi Mi 9T. Obviously, we don't know for sure yet, so we'll have to wait and see, but I know that you lot watching really want to know when this phone, either the K20 series or whatever they repurpose it as, is coming to international markets. And some big news from Huawei as well. So apparently, these pictures are of Huawei staff staying very late after work, doing overtime until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, working on Huawei's new operating system. Now, just to say, these pictures, you can see in the bottom right hand corner of this picture, it's from CCTV. This is Chinese state media, so this photo is definitely for real. These pictures are of Huawei staff. Obviously you can't see what they're working on, but if you read the Chinese, it explains that the Huawei staff are staying late after work, trying to ready this new operating system for the Mate 30 series in autumn. Now I can think of more than one reason why Huawei staff would need to stay late after work at the moment. There is just so much going on with Huawei. We don't know how everything is going to work out. Obviously, behind the scenes, it must be chaos with this company and that company cutting ties. We just don't know how they're going to put their devices together going forward, where the hardware and the software is going to come from. But these photos show that HongMeng OS, as they call it in China, is almost guaranteed for the Mate 30 series. So it says that the Mate 30 series will launch with the Kirin 985 chipset. That's a new chipset. You've got the 980 at the moment. That's not a surprise. The Mate series always launches with a new chipset. So definitely not a surprise. That's been in the works, and we've heard that those chipsets will not be affected by any bans this year. Now, will that name change once it gets outside of China? HongMeng is just a Chinese name, 2 Chinese characters. Huawei recently copyrighted the name Ark OS. Sounds a bit better for English speaking markets, definitely, as opposed to HongMeng. So obviously it's at a very early stage. We don't even know the names for sure, but you can see that these Huawei workers are definitely readying their own operating system, and they're going to plan to put it on future phones. Also in the news about Huawei, Foxconn have halted a lot of Huawei's production lines. So Foxconn are the third-party manufacturer. They put the phones together. Their factory is half an hour up the road from me in Shenzhen. They also have factories outside of Shanghai as well. But apparently they have slowed and even shut some Huawei production lines. Now this makes total sense because new customers are probably holding off buying Huawei phones. Please let me know, were you looking to buy a P30 Pro? Were you looking to buy one of the new Honor 20 series of phones? Really great hardware in those phones. My P30, I just think it's a great phone overall. But let me know, were you going to buy a new phone from Huawei, and how are you thinking about it now? Have you put off the purchase? Have you bought something else? It would make a lot of sense that Huawei's sales figures are definitely going to drop with all that's going on. People just can't be sure about their device, and so it's completely sensible maybe to look elsewhere, look at another device, or just hold off on your purchase. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Very quickly ending the video today. Here is the latest iPhone design news. This has come out from so many different sources all at once. So what we can take from that is that people are now pretty sure that this is the back design. You can see it there. This triple camera setup on the iPhone. But it's nice to see Apple catching up with the Android lot and giving us a triple camera. I'm sure it's going to be very good. I really like iPhone cameras. I think they give a really natural picture, both in video and pictures. So with the amount of leaks coming out about the iPhone all at this time, I think we can be pretty certain that this is more or less what the back camera on the iPhone is going to look like. All right, that's it for this episode of TechZG News, and I'll see you in the next one.